What's up, my people? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. I'm your host, Shegun. Guys, as usual, it's Monday, and we are here to discuss Manchester United. So, guys, a lot of talking points. We want to talk about transfers, because it looks like the January transfer window, we're already beginning to smell it, I'm beginning to smell the January transfer window because we have two big news that have been trending for quite a few hours now. But first of all, it's about the news of Joshua Zirkzee and how that Roma are working on the personal terms of Joshua Zirkzee. The discussions started on that end. Let's look at Joshua Zirkzee. Is he a player that United can afford to lose in January? What exactly is that situation? Should we let him go? Should we retain him? What should we do in that situation? The other side of things, in terms of the inside of things now, is the fact that there have been reports from credible journalists like Fabrizio, like Austin, that Manchester United and Manchester City, and even Liverpool also are among the forerunners to get Semenyo. So we want to look at it. We've analyzed Semenyo before, but let's also look at it again in terms of what does it bring? Is it the kind of player we want? Where will he fit in? Let's refresh ourselves, about those situations. So guys, as usual, let's drop right into it. Joshua Zirkzee, for me, I've said it many times that Zirkzee is a player I like. Zirkzee is a player that right from the first time he was bought in Manchester United, you can check our previous videos. I used a particular phrase to describe Joshua Zirkzee, when I said Joshua Zirkzee is the icing on top of the cake. A player like Joshua Zirkzee will fit well into a team that has a lot of their fundamentals completed. So he's a player that comes in, and I like him in that time to, for example, a Dimitri Berbatov. Yeah, I'm not saying they are the same profile, but I'm saying that in terms of both of them are icing on cakes, in terms of they come into a system that is already working and they make that system better. So it doesn't make sense to have a Joshua Zirkzee for me in a struggling side like United, if I'm being honest, because there are certain things that we should be able to do to get the best out of Zirkzee that we cannot do. And I think he has been so professional. He has been so, he has tried his best to impact our team. But the fact is, our team is not at the level to buy to have someone like Joshua Zirkzee in our ranks. And for me, I think if that news comes to United, if the news of the bid reaches United's table, I think I for one will say let's cash in on Joshua Zirkzee. I think I for one will support that. I for one really support that because he's a fantastic player. But as I said earlier, and I said many times, we are not at the level of such a player. And that's why sometimes, because of the kind of way we play our football, we will not get the best out of him. And I don't want a situation whereby we just have a player like that, and we're not going to get the best out of him. And sometimes, even the kind of football that brings him into the game, we are not there yet. And I think I explained that in one of our 5 things, how the fact that United is the side that most likely will try to build up now. And if we can build up, we can build up. When we don't build up, we go the second route of playing it long, right? Zirkzee is not a player that loves all these long balls, right? Sesko can do that in terms of hold up, link up, playing it, adding it to running wingers inside or running inside forward inside the spaces. But Zirkzee is not that kind of player. Zirkzee is a player that wants you to tap it, give him, he can turn, link up that way. Tap it. And that's why I saw against Crystal Palace, right? I think he had a very good game against Crystal Palace. But you saw the second half against Crystal Palace, you saw that when the ball was now passed to him on the floor, we brought out the beauty. We are getting there as a United side, but the fact is we are not doing that kind of game consistently. So for me, I think it's one of those players that I would be sad to see him go, but also logically, now using my brains, I would say I see the idea, and for me, I will ask that United cash in on Joshua Zirkzee. So now, if Zirkzee leaves, the next question is, how do we solve our striker position? So for me, I want to see how the news develops, because I believe that United should be going for a different kind of striker to replace Joshua Zirkzee if he eventually goes. And I think I will be looking at we getting a much more experienced a much more experienced goalkeeper. A much more experienced striker, sorry. A much more experienced striker. In the sense of that side, Sesko is not yet the finished article. I've said it many times. Sesko is a boy with amazing talent, amazing potential, but he is not yet there. He will keep getting better, but he's not yet there. And I feel that the pressure of United, we actually need someone who can actually do a job there and do it majorly consistently. I think at this level of Benjamin Sesko, it won't be bad for him, to come in the second half. For me, I think it wouldn't be also bad for Sesko to play specific games where we need his strengths. But Sesko, as I've said, is a player we have to be very patient with because we have a talent in our hands. Because he's a player I've watched for 3-4 years before he came to United. Right? So I understand what Sesko brings, but I am of the opinion that we need to go for much more experienced hands to be able to enable us, to do business in that striking position well. So I'll be doing, let me see how the news develop, and then I'll be doing potential strikers that United should go for. So when I'm talking about much more experienced strikers, I'm talking about maybe the range of between 27 to 30 years, right? I think we should go for. Yeah, I know there have been talks about the future, but there are specific positions where you need more maturity, and the striker position is one of them. So for me, I think United should be looking for a much more experienced, between 27 to 30-year-old striker, really that understands how to score goals. So we'll be looking at the potential people if that deal of Zirkzee moves on in January. But for me, I think United might not also want to lose him in January. But ultimately, I feel if we don't lose him in January, that's depending on the replacement, right? But ultimately, I feel that by the summer, I think we're not yet there yet. We're not yet there yet, really. And I feel that we should be a good logical thing to let Joshua Zirkzee go. So let's go to the second part of the discussion. Semenyo. I think I've analyzed Semenyo. I did an analysis of him when I did him and Ilman Ndaye. So a lot of things I said about Semenyo was the fact that I do not see Semenyo, in my own opinion, I do not see Semenyo as a permanent wing back for Manchester United. I don't see Semenyo being the kind of wing back that Amad Diallo is. Because Semenyo's defensive work rate is not up to what Amad Diallo is doing currently. Even though Amad Diallo had to work hard on it, I don't want to lose certain qualities of Semenyo by asking him to be that kind of wing back that Amad Diallo is, right? And so I've said a lot of things about him in that my last episode where I talked about the fact that there are certain things that I see in Semenyo's game that I don't see in Kunha's game, right? And getting Semenyo offers us a lot more better things. For example, I said cutbacks is a part of Semenyo's game, the ability to run to the byline and cut back, right? Either based on the left or based on the right, he has the ability to run and cut back. Kunha is not that kind of player, right? So for me, if Semenyo decides to join United, because I think that's the major caveat now, if he decides to join Man United, because a lot of clubs are coming for him now, is a hot cake. So if he decides to join Man United, what he will offer us, obviously one of them is the ability to cut backs. And I think we need to have more cutbacks in our team as a club, in our attack, because it will enable us to score much more goals. We're not having enough. On both sides, really. Our assist zones have not really grown the way I expected this season. And I feel that one of the persons that can help in that assist zone is Semenyo. If he comes, he can assist he can assist us in the assist zones. So another thing about Semenyo's game that I said is the fact that the way he plays allows for a very, very, if you have a very, very good wing back, right? They can enjoy off him, especially direct wing backs, right? So Semenyo is someone that is playing on the left. The way he moves and the ability of him to move and push, he gives a lot of space for wing backs to actually hurt teams, right? So when I see that, I'm like, I like this. And that's why I said, when I see his movement, I'm like, I don't want to limit him. It's just like Ndaye, for example, as I said in that episode, Ndaye also has the ability to move in. So they give a lot of space for full backs or for wing backs to hit. And so you don't want to be using that kind of person that has that kind of movement as the wing back, because then who then exploits that space, right? So that's another part of his game in terms of the way he moves, the way he attacks. He Not necessarily like Konwa that is a little bit more central. He has the ability to also play on the wing. That's a different dynamics. So he can do from outside, inside. But even when he moves inside, it gives a lot of opportunities for a wing back to hot, direct wing back to hot. I think it will make sense in that area for me. It will make sense in that area for me. So as I said, obviously, there are certain situations where he might find himself playing as a wing back. And I think those are special situations. Maybe you are playing against a team that is super high block or high block, right? I say high block, low block, right? So when you are playing a team that is playing low block, right? Low block, they are blocking everywhere, and there's no space. You want a situation whereby you have Semenyo, you want Konwa, you want Mbeumo, you want Ahmad. Right. You want that. But I feel that would make sense. So when that low block is there, you can have more options. And I think that's why Ruben Amorim said after the Everton game that he needs an Amad Diallo on the left side. So that's the dynamics that can come into this system. So for me, I am okay with him on the wing back. But as a basic wing back position, I don't see him there because there are qualities he has that, that I don't want him to lose. Obviously, the guy can play on the left, he can play on the right. The guy is functional. I've analyzed a lot of things about him. So, but now let's talk about the things that are very, very questionable about the signing of Semenyo. First of all, there's competition to sign him, but that's normal. A very good player, the competition to sign him. But obviously, it's also the fact that the guy is an African also. And so a lot of people are like, even the little heat we are facing now from the African Nations Cup, amazing tournament, but the timing affects us now. Semenyo also, is also part of it. So there are questions. But for me, I really see him playing as one of our inside forwards. For me, if I was a manager, I would not use him as a wing back now. There are certain times when we are progressing our game that he might play as a wing back. But in certain situations, as I said earlier, when we are playing against a low block, I think Semenyo will be fantastic. Will be fantastic for us. So guys, for me, I'm 100% in support of Semenyo's deal on the basis that he has to accept us. And obviously, I believe with this new United side, that's in terms of the backroom organization. If he doesn't accept us, we don't get him. If we don't get the green light from him, we don't go, right? But in terms of his overall play, for me, I'm happy about what I see about him. I'm happy with what I see about him. I understand that his defensive work rate is not there. That's why I can't use him as a wing back. But also, I know that when it comes to United, he will know the responsibility for him to track back and do that defensive work. But I've said a lot of things about this game that I'm pleased with. So for me, I'm 100% in support of it. Definitely, he has to accept us first, right? But I'm 100% in support of it. So guys, let me have your opinion on these two bit of business, Joshua Zirkzee and Semenyo. What do you think? Do you think we should let Joshua Zirkzee go? Do you think we let Semenyo in? And for example, that might just be a transfer in the January transfer window. Zirkzee out, Semenyo in. And maybe you have games where Konwa plays as the first 9, and then you have Semenyo, and then you have Mbeumo, right? And sometimes you can use Sesko, you can use Semenyo, you can use Mbeumo, you can use Konwa. You have those different variations. I feel it will be very nice because it's very, very nice for us. It offers us a lot of things. It offers us a lot of things in our attack. It makes us more potent based on transition moments. A lot of potency, really. So, guys, let me have your opinion on Antoine Semenyo and Joshua Zirkzee. Bit of news. Do you think we should go for Semenyo? Do you think we should let Zirkzee go? Don't forget to like this video, please. Don't forget to subscribe. Most importantly, don't forget to share. And very, very importantly, drop in the comment section your thoughts about this bit of business. Until I see you next time. Bye.